Okay, I'm gonna try to shoot this video for the third time because my phone keeps ringing. So, hey everybody, this is Beth, and we were asked by a couple people that we know, like in person, what our homeschool schedule was. One person that homeschools and one person that doesn't homeschool yet but is interested in it. So I thought that we would just go ahead and post a schedule right up on YouTube, and that way, in case there was anybody else that was curious, I sometimes watch other people's schedules to see what they do. I don't copy them because one family schedule is never going to work for another family, but it's always just sort of interesting to see what other people do. So, so this is our schedule. So he wakes up every morning at 8:30. I wake him up, and he goes to bed at 10 o'clock. So he sleeps a lot. I think that's a fairly good amount of time to sleep. He used to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier, but it didn't sort of naturally go with his natural, like biology, with his natural biological clock of just what time his body sort of got tired and was ready to wake up. So I just sort of followed what he sort of naturally does and then just made a schedule around that. So he consistently does the same thing, but I sort of let his body dictate what that was. So he wakes up at 8:30. From 8:30 to 9 o'clock, he can get up and sort of take his time to have breakfast. And he checks his YouTube and his Twitter and all that kind of stuff. And he has breakfast. We don't have a set meal schedule. I just sort of have things for breakfast, and then I let him choose. So sometimes he has oatmeal. There are a couple brands of cereal that he's allowed to have. He can have eggs, stuff like that. So he just sort of tells me what he's in the mood for that day, or sometimes I don't give him a choice and I just make him something. But he has breakfast and checks all his social media and everything from 8:30 to 9, and then 9 o'clock is when he starts. So the post-its are just there because my sister wrote this for me and she put his name. So I just covered this up for the video. So this is his schedule. So the first thing he does is Bible studies. Bible studies we do at 9 o'clock. And that is, for right now, he joined. I had never heard of it before. I'll try to put a link below if I can find like a website for it so you can get information if you were interested. But for Bible studies, he does JBQ, which is Junior Bible Quizzing. And all it is I think you get a whole box of cards. And I think whatever. I think we gave him like $20 or something for it. And what we did, and I'm sure other people do too, is I punched a hole in them. So all the questions that he has for this time around are all on one ring. And then there's a box with a lot more cards in it, and you just take out the ones that you need. It tells you which numbers are going to be in like the next match, and so you know which ones to study. And then it just has the questions on the front, the answers on the back. You quiz on them for like 2 months, and then you compete against other kids from other churches and other towns. So we just did a quiz this last Saturday, and now he's learning new questions and answers for the next one, and he likes it a lot. He's learned a lot of things from it, and so have I. Like, once you memorize it, it's hard to forget it. So for right now, that's what we're doing in Bible studies. So by then he's finished breakfast, so he goes upstairs and brushes his teeth, and if he hasn't gotten dressed yet, he usually does that. Then we do math right this very second. We are trying, put that up there. For right this second, we are trying teaching textbooks. The reason that I try this is because it's not his fault. It's bad parenting, I guess, and definitely bad teaching. And homeschooling was never something that I thought I was going to do, so it's not something that I ever sort of like geared myself up for. And there's things I'm not good at. And one of the things I'm not good at is teaching something that I do easily, because I have trouble explaining why it is the way it is. I'm like, I don't know, it just is. I just know it is. And sometimes it's hard for me to explain it, like if he didn't understand something right away, which he usually does. Like I said, it's my fault, it's not his. But math time usually ended up being a bit of a bicker. And he's very lazy when it comes to handwriting things. And I liked that this was not only computer and everything on the computer and everything typing, unless he has to work a problem out real quick and then he can do that. But it's also the guy teaches it right then and there. So there's no way that you can not, at least for him, not understand what's happening. I will say that it's very easy. For him, it's very easy. It's very basic. It spirals a lot. So way more than he needs it to. So he does the lesson and then he has to do the questions that pertains to that lesson, and any questions that comes from an earlier lesson I let him skip. And then every, like, I don't know, 5-10 lessons, there's a chapter test, and on the chapter test he has to do all the questions. And if he gets something wrong, then, you know, we'll go over it, and if he needs to practice something he could, but so far I don't think he's got any wrong on the chapter tests. I can't remember, I could be lying, but so far so good. Like he's understood everything pretty much that's gone by. So yeah, so things I like and don't like about it. And I think that later him and I might shoot a video about all the math that we've done, because I think I said earlier in the video, I don't know if I did or not, but we haven't even hit the 1 year mark on homeschooling, and he's already tried so many different maths. So this is what he's doing right now. We still have art of problem solving and all that stuff, but just for this second, that's what he's doing right now. And then once we've done this, he's gonna go through it so fast. He does a lesson a day. So he's gonna go through it really fast. And then once we're done with that, then we can get more in depth with other things. But this way, at least I know he didn't miss anything because I didn't teach it right, or because, you know, we were fighting or something. So it's made our math time much more pleasant. So that's math. He made the schedule of what he wanted in order. Math, I think he did it to get out of the way. He doesn't hate math or anything, but he really likes like reading and writing and stuff. So next he chose writing. And again, this changes all the time, the stuff that we do. So this is just what we've chosen for right now. So he does Monday philosophy, free writing, unjournaling, free writing, unjournaling. So for philosophy and unjournaling, I have a book. For free writing, he's allowed to do whatever he wants. And usually, always, not even usually, always, it's video game based. And sometimes he gets obsessed with a video game. Like he just started playing Plants vs. Zombies. He got it as a present. And he already is playing it, but then he's already also writing his own stories and his own, okay, well, if they made another game, like they should make these characters and they should have them do this. And he just likes to kind of design all that stuff. So a lot of times in his free writing, it has to do with those kinds of things. But then he also writes stories with video game characters in them. He sort of writes his own. Yeah, I guess it's kind of fanfic-ish. But yeah, so that's what he does a lot for his free writing. For his unjournaling, let me find it real quick, is right here. And it just comes with different writing prompts. And I'll see if I can find one that's kind of small. Madison is so happy. In one paragraph, show that she is happy, but don't use the word happy or even a synonym for happy. So stuff like that I think is awesome. You can't use happy and you can't use glad and stuff like that. You have to show it by things that she does and, like, you know, movement and stuff like that. So stuff like that I absolutely love. It makes him think and not just ramble. He has to think about what he's writing, and he can still turn it into whatever he wants. Like, he can still turn it into video game stuff, but I like that he's writing with a purpose. He still has mysteries. We're just not doing that right this second. And then the philosophy is just stuff like, you know, I don't know, like really basic ones that you've heard of, you know, like, is it ever okay to steal? Stuff like that. And then he just has to write a paragraph or so about what he thinks about it. So that is writing. For reading, he reads for an hour a day. He does a half hour of whatever he wants, and he does a half hour of what I give him. So for right now, for whatever he wants, he's rereading the first Harry Potter, and we're doing chapter reviews, and then he's going to do a compare and contrast to the movies, because he's never done that before, and I thought that would be a good exercise. And then this is just some book he picked up because it was Halloween time. We went to the library. So that's free reading. And then for what I gave him right now, he's reading the Percy Jackson books, because in history we were doing Greek mythology, and it tied in. So I thought that would be good to read about. And again, we can compare and contrast with movies. So for right now, that's what he's doing for reading. For Spanish, he does Duolingo, which we enjoy so far. It's conversational. Like just now, you pick like your subjects. So I think like, you could pick like food or something, and it'll concentrate on food. He was doing one that he clicked on that was like pickup lines, but he said really early on that it got kind of creepy. So he clicked off that one just recently. But it's definitely conversational Spanish. As he gets into like, right now he's in 6th grade, and in our public school, foreign language hasn't started yet if he were in public school. So he's definitely not behind or anything like that. He's learning conversational first, and then he can get more in depth as far as like writing and the grammar of it and all that kind of stuff. But for right now, he's just doing Duolingo, and it's working out good. For science, we still have Science Sleuths and the CSI labs, and then I finally pulled the trigger and bought Apologia. I've heard good things about it, and okay, so this is what I like about it. He's not going to go into a science field, I don't think. He's never had much interest in science, and if he did, I feel like this is really good basic material, but I don't believe he's going to go into a STEM. It's just not kind of who he is. So I don't feel the need to like make things more difficult than they have to be. So we're starting off with Astronomy. He is 10 years old right now, and although he's very smart, he is still 10, and he has an innocence about him that still enjoys, coloring and drawing and those types of things. So I like that with the notebook, he can sort of just write a little bit about what he's learned and draw pictures to go with it. His horrible writing. So I also like that it makes him do handwriting. He has really hard time with fine motor skills. So I like that that's as good as he can do. So I like that it makes him practice it, and then it makes it practice in cursive. It is obviously like Christian based. In our house we do both because I'm not a Christian and he is. So I fully support his religious, choices and his religious freedom, but we learn both. I like the layout of it. It's really simple. The first chapter is like, what is astronomy? And then it just goes sun, then Mercury, then Venus. It just goes right in a row. And then as far as the books, you don't have to do them in a row, but if you follow them, it follows like the 6 days of what God made. So first God's made, heavens and the earth. So that's what you learn about first is astronomy and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing for science right now, and he really likes it, so I think we're just going to keep going that road. It's working out so far. For history, I know I've shown before that we just have this book we bought from a thrift store. It's like an old world history book, just so we have the timeline to follow, and then we have this one that's just art and music of the times. So we put those together to learn about each time. We're going to be doing this over the course of a couple years, so we feel no reason to like hurry and stuff like that. We spend time on things that we like, and we speed up through things that we don't like. Right now, like I said, he's doing Greece, and he's been doing it for probably like a month now. He's been doing it for quite a while. But we've watched so many videos and read so many things and learned so many things. He wanted to learn the Greek alphabet and just all kinds of stuff. So we've really spent some time on Greece, and we'll be done soon, but that's what we're doing right now. For ELA, he's got poetry, vocab review. Poetry is he reads poetry and writes poetry. Usually his poetry is about video games, and he writes them on his blog. Vocab, I tried going online for different things, and I tried putting him in like 6th grade vocab, and it was just too easy. So I kept moving him upgrades and upgrades and upgrades, and finally we got to the point that now we're just doing SAT prep vocab questions. So I found a website that has SAT questions, or SAT vocab, and you pick the right meaning of the word, and then he can see how to spell them, and he can also learn the definitions. Some of them he knows, but not quite the right definition. It's just sort of in his own words, and they're maybe not quite right. Some of the words he hasn't heard of. So I think it's a good mix, and that's what he's doing right now for vocab. And then for review, he's allowed to review whatever he wants. He just has to write it up in his on his blog, or sometimes I let him do it on his channel, like verbal, because he usually writes those out too, and then just reads the script on his channel. And it can be about anything. If it's about video games, he usually does it up on his channel. If it's about anything else, books, movies, a restaurant, I mean, I don't even care what he reviews. I just want him to review something and think about what he really likes and doesn't like, and why, be able to explain why, because sometimes he has difficulty with that. So right now we're doing that for ELA. Coding, that should really just say like computers. Sometimes he does editing, video editing for his channel. He has a book for Microsoft Small Basic, learning code. Sometimes he plays around on Scratch or Tinker, just kind of learning programming a little bit. And then he also goes to a Coder Dojo class every other Saturday. His friend's dad teaches a class called Coder Dojo. That, again, I think they have those kind of all around the country. And it's just, it's just a dad who volunteers his time. And it's for like an hour and a half every other Saturday at a library. And you go, and they just, they learn different things, different programming and different stuff like that. So he does that. And then he does drums. And I'll link the YouTuber that he looks at. I'll link him in the description. He just follows free lessons right now. He catches on pretty quick. He doesn't like love it. It's not like he wakes up and is like, I gotta play the drums, but he seems to like it, and he seems to be pretty good at it, and like kind of naturally good at it. So that's just what we're doing right now for like music. Once he gets a little bit older, if he wanted to go back to taking lessons again, like professional lessons, then he could. Or if he wants to try a different instrument, he could do that too. But for right now, that's what we're doing for that. And that is pretty much his schedule. If he really concentrates, he can get stuff done by noon. If he kind of goofs around and stuff like that, it takes him until the afternoon. And then we still have other things that we do too, like his Bible quiz. They meet once a week in the afternoon. He takes an acting class that meets like an improv class. He does that 1 week in the afternoon. So he also takes like some outside classes and stuff like that. So that's it. All of his books and everything are right here. On this side, he just has baggies that has like his markers and crayons and all that kind of stuff. But all of his books are kind of right here. There's other things, but a lot of stuff he does, if he needs like supplemental stuff, it's stuff that we have online, either books that we've downloaded or websites that we have that kind of supplement the books. So that's pretty much all he has for school books. Like I said, those are his reading books. I can show you this. It's just his schedule. It's like an old Trapper Keeper style that I just bought at Target. And in here, he just has all of his different papers and stuff like that. He's got a calculator here, and then just, pencils and stuff. So he's got his schedule, and then he has math. And I just made him this little cheat sheet that has the metric system, and then just a reminder on that because I didn't see it on this other cheat sheet that I had bought him. I got this quite a while ago at Target when they had the back to school sale. I guess that's when it was, is in August. I don't think I got it for him at the end of last year, so I guess it must have been over the summer I bought it. And they were selling them at Target for like $5 a piece. So I got him the ones that apply to him. I wish now I had bought him all the ones they had, because now that the back to school is over, they don't sell them anymore at Target. I asked somebody that works there, and he said whatever, they don't sell for like the back to school that they send back to, like, I don't know, their warehouse or whatever. I'm sure you can buy them on Amazon, but that stinks. I wish they sold them there year round. So this is just like a little cheat sheet in case he needed a reminder of something, how to find the area of something or something like that. So he's got the algebra one. And then for ELA, he's got just some stuff. Usually in here, he just has like how to write out book reports and stuff like that. We had one thing where we're taking an artist and writing a little bit about that artist and reading a little bit about that artist, and then he recreates one of their famous paintings just for fun. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just for fun. It's nothing like hardcore. For science, he's got an anatomy one, which is good. It has the systems of the body and stuff like that too. For history, this is ancient Greece when he was learning the Greek alphabet. I don't know if I had him do that on camera. Maybe I will. And then if nothing else, my parents can see it. But he learned the Greek alphabet. And then for geography, right now, well, I'll show you this first. This is another one I bought at Target, and it just has the world map on one side, and then it has the states and the capitals on the other. He was doing states and the capitals. He was doing the Animaniacs song with it. And then this was what he was doing at the end of last year, which was, I think I got this one at, like, I don't know, Barnes & Noble or something. But he was going through each state, and for each state he was making a paper, and it had, an outline of the state, kind of what the shape is, the capital, about how big it is, some things about it, when it became a state, and he was doing them in order of when they became a state. And then he collected all the 50 quarters, so he did like a quarter marking for each one. And now that we're done with U.S. geography, now he's doing world geography. And I told him he had to pick, to start off with, pick a country from each of the continents and study it. So for right now, the first one he chose was India. So that's what we're doing right now for that. And that's it. This is just like his sort of 3-ring binder that goes along with his schoolwork, his books, and that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much our schedule. So if you guys have any suggestions or anything, definitely you can leave them in the comments. We don't always try people's suggestions, but we're definitely open to them. We definitely, if people suggest things, we at least research it out. And then sometimes you can tell right away that it's not going to work for your family for whatever reason. But it is always nice just to see what other people do. Yeah, it is always nice just to see like how other people do things. And I feel like sometimes it just makes you feel like maybe you're not doing so bad because you sort of see other people's, and like they kind of have the same questions you do or the same kind of troubles you do and stuff like that. So we're definitely new to this. Like I said, not even a year yet, and we're always changing. But just for this moment, that's what we're doing. So I think later, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I think later we're going to do a math review on all the math stuff that we've tried so far this year and last year, and just what we liked, well, at least what he liked and didn't like about all of them, and what I liked and didn't like about all of them. And that is it. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.